So Many Tears by Tupac Shakur. It is a day of many tears. Ben, I don't know if you got that. I'm sure some of it's going to come in your news, but it is November 9th. A lot happening today, especially for us. Episode number 33, MetaMentors. If the ultimate goal of the metaverse is interoperability between work, social, and games, then wouldn't it make sense that the companies that are building bridges spanning the metaverse, connecting all the projects and communities within, will have the staying power to outlast this current bear market that's going on? It's still too early to know, Ben, but I can tell you the project we're about to cover today has a huge head start.
I'm going to try to do my best to pay attention, but there's just so much going on right now. Let's get into Enjin.
Let's do it.
Imagine that every game has real life value. Imagine having true ownership of items. Imagine eradicating gray market trading. Imagine leveling your character through multiple games. Imagine being protected from scammers and hackers. Imagine fair microtransactions. Enjin Coin will make that happen. It's a smart gaming cryptocurrency powered by a suite of tools that enable game developers to explore a new frontier in gaming: blockchain. Here's how it works, explained in 5 simple steps. Game developers acquire a certain amount of Enjin Coin through an official partnership, crowdfunding, or a cryptocurrency exchange. Developers then use the Enjin platform and SDKs to create or mint blockchain-based gaming items. These can be anything from abundant items like custom in-game currencies, generic loot and mineable resources, to non-fungible, unique items like rare cards, breedable creatures, scarce weapons, or mighty heroes. Once the game is released, gamers can complete quests and win tokenized rewards, loot unique in-game items from vanquished enemies, collect fungible resources, and earn Enjin Coin-backed gaming assets. Gamers can also use Enjin Coin to securely purchase blockchain items from in-game stores or trade with each other. Gamers keep and own blockchain-based items in their private and secure Enjin wallets. Every transaction, whether it's trading, purchasing, or selling items, has to be confirmed by the gamer via the Enjin wallet. In case they're unable to sell them, players can melt their virtual items back into Enjin Coin. This gives the player insurance, knowing their game items will always hold some value. Melting is a huge value proposition for gamers, making them more likely to purchase virtual items. Join the Enjin developer portal and start using the Enjin platform today.
Ben, Enjin, we are going to go in depth on this project today. So if you're checking out our channel and you don't have time for the full episode, check the timestamps down below. Those are for you so that you can jump around and hit the highlights. Hope you watch the whole episode because we got a lot to cover with this project. And if you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, today is the day for you to subscribe. Help us get to 1,000 followers. We also would like it if you would leave some comments and some likes. And I think I'll throw it over to Ben to start the news.
Before we get into the news, I want to show you, this is one of my favorite guys to talk about crypto. This is Anthony Pompliano. This was him 3 days ago.
This week in Bitcoin was absolutely wild. It's like, just kidding. Actually, it's super boring. It's a bear market. And so things just kind of go sideways. But there's 2 main stories that I would pay attention to. The first is the Federal Reserve. The Federal Reserve increased interest rates by 75 basis points.
Blah, 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 blah. He's talking about how boring it is in the crypto market this week because there's nothing really going on.
Don't forget that these are brought to you every single Saturday by FTX. FTX is as much as 85% cheaper than their competitors, and they've also introduced digital stock trading with no payment for order flow and no transaction fees. Go check them out by clicking on the link in the description, and I'll see you all next Saturday.
So it's a 2-minute video, and he led off with saying there's nothing exciting happening this week in Bitcoin. And then he ended it with, this is sponsored by FTX. If you're not privy to what's going on in the world right now, FTX has just been purchased. FTX.com has just been purchased. Well, no. Wait, I guess that just changed.
Breaking news, Ben.
Breaking news. Here, I got a ticker for it. Let's see. Hide that one. Breaking news. Crypto is dead. There you go. Yeah, the whole thing just fell through. So yesterday it came out that Binance was probably going to buy FTX because FTX had just crapped the bed. So Binance was going to do some D&D and make sure that everything was cool, and they were going to take over and help out, with the liquidity crunch, basically get everybody their coins back and take over FTX. But after about 30 minutes of their own D&D, they decided that was not a good idea. According to what we've heard at recording time, which is Wednesday the 9th, they have backed out of helping FTX. They are going to let it die, which does not bode well for anybody who's got money on that exchange. So this is in the news. This is what's happening. I'm going to try to keep this under 4 hours today. So as I was doing this, I started finding a lot of these red flags. Now stuff that people posted 2 and 3 weeks ago, we're kind of starting to throw up some suspicions about this SBF guy who Ryan and I guess I'll speak for myself. Yeah, he's thrown a life preserver to quite a few different projects in the bear market. He's been doing a lot of good things, but there's starting to be some cracks, not really in his story, but in the position that he sits in the crypto field. A lot of people understand that some regulation is necessary, but for the most part, it's an evil that we should have as little as possible. And he had done an interview not that long ago, and he was kind of pressured on what he thought about some of these crypto regulations. And this is kind of what started the ball, because after, I don't remember who it was that started doing the deep dive, but after he talked about this, it kind of threw up a lot of red flags, and a lot of people were like, what is going on? That doesn't really seem like the way that everybody else in crypto talks. So this research firm starts digging in, finds out that he's got a lot, and he's like, actually, he's got a lot of kind of like an iffy, the way he's set up is, the way FTX is set up, it's kind of a little iffy. And then when that happened, then Binance dumped all of their FTT coins, which is their exchange token. When that happened, of course, in crypto, there is no fail safe. When one goes, it goes. There's no FDIC insured. So if you don't get your money out, it's good as gone. And it only costs your minimal transaction fees to just get it off and either put it on a different exchange or get it to a wallet. So the safest bet is to just take it off. Well, the problem is when people start doing that, including Binance, who owned $1 billion worth of it, it starts to drop the price. And then people who are like, it's okay, I'm just going to hold on for a while. When the price starts dropping, then they panic and then they go, no, okay, I can't wait anymore. I'm going to take mine off too. So it starts to change. It's
like modern day run of the bank.
It's exactly what it is. And like I said, this was before the bank runs were before FDIC. Before the FDIC said, hey, if you've got money in here, we'll guarantee that this money is safe up to $250,000, I think is what it's at right now. That doesn't exist right now in crypto. So when there's a run, it's an old-fashioned run, and nobody has to get up and leave for the bank. You can sit at your computer and do it. So it's way faster, way more volatile, and way more destructive, as we could tell. But this was the interview that he had that sort of, this is just the end of it. He had just explained why it was ridiculous to put the KYC, which is the Know Your Customer, on every email account in the world or in America. And he said he's strongly against that. He said, well, that's an invasion of privacy, blah, blah. He had a great argument for it. And then this guy said, well, what about payments? Why do we need to do that? Why does every wallet need a KYC? Because he's in favor of pretty strict regulation on some of this stuff. And this was his answer. And so you could see why people kind of went, wait a minute, isn't this guy worth $14 billion and in charge of the second largest crypto exchange in the world? So here's his answer.
Why is Aave somehow different than email?
So, why is it different than email?
You argued so well and so passionately to not block email with licensing and KYC. I loved hearing that.
Yep.
That filled my soul with joy. Such good arguments. Why does that not apply to financial transactions?
So, why does it not apply to financial transactions? I think there are a few things here. So, first of all,
and I feel for the guy. I do, because this is a kid who got a lucky couple of shots with, some early investing, who figured out some loopholes between, Bitcoin arbitrage between some other countries' exchanges and American exchanges. So he made a lot of money. He got up there. He didn't build something up the way, he didn't go through college. He has no idea. I shouldn't say that. He's got more of an idea than I do how to run a $15 billion company, but he's kind of been thrust into this position, and then he gets put on the spot and stuff like that. And I think I read that both of his parents are financial regulators. So which is why he has such a strong regulation background. Like, he's okay with it, because it's like, well, yeah, because, you don't want money being sent to terrorists. You don't want the Silk Road incident all over again, but it's kind of anti-thematic with the decentralization that we're all going for. And after that, it sort of red flagged it. His body language, he was shaking. He couldn't think. And
yeah,
I felt terrible for him. But if you had any money in FTX and you saw that, you went, ooh, ooh, and that started kind of the ball rolling, and people started going, hey, I don't think this guy's on the right team. And next thing you know, Binance, CZ from Binance, pulls out their FTT tokens and starts the snowball. So that's what we got going on. That's the biggest news in crypto right now, is FTX, not FTX US. Same guy, technically different companies. FTX US is regulated to some degree. It's more of a centralized, like a Coinbase. So there's things that they can't do that they were allowed to do with FTX.com. The things that they did with FTX.com are the reason that they're in the position they are now. So as of right now, which could change in 30 minutes, FTX US and their accounts are okay. Although the token is the same and they're panicking, and Tom Brady has a lot of money in FTX, along with a couple other big celebrities, and they've got an arena. Things are crazy right now. So FTX on the way down. Here's some of the threads. We'll have the links to all of this stuff. This was SBF. I think this was actually him saying that basically they were in a pinch and they were having Binance come in. This was all. I had this all set up. I mean, literally, we're talking 30 minutes before recording, we got the news that the deal had fallen through, because the plan was, even according to CZ, they were coming in. I got the link here somewhere. Anyways.
Yeah, it makes you wonder what else did he uncover? What did Binance uncover? And maybe that's not the case, but that's got to be your initial thought. That's what you jump to, is what else did he discover? That
they said within hours they had of starting their DD, and DD is what we tell you to do for yourself. Again, this might have been an okay deal for a bank or somebody else to come into. Maybe there were things that somebody could have helped, but Binance went in doing their own due diligence, and within hours said, never mind. They backed out, and apparently that deal is going down. So very interesting. Now, CZ talks a lot in these last couple tweets, talking about kind of what went wrong with FTX and what people should do. And they talk about they've never taken on debt. And we talked about it actually in the middle of the bear market when they were hiring. We talked about Binance was able to hire because they weren't out getting big deal, promotional deals with celebrities. They weren't making commercials. They weren't branding stadiums. So it does seem like they've played it pretty safe. He's got a couple of rules right here to live by. Just very interesting because, I don't know what's going to happen to FTX now. I had this all planned out, kind of what I was going to talk about, because Binance was supposed to take them over, but that's all changed. So SBF is in big trouble. Sam Bankman-Fried now. His goose is cooked.
Yeah. MetaMentors news, breaking news. That's why you got to tune in. It could change at any minute, and it does with
That's
crypto
crazy.
constantly.
Yeah.
Like
by the time I edit this video and put it out, it could be all different again.
Yeah. Which makes it fun documenting documenting through these videos. Not our intention, but we are doing that, which makes it kind of cool.
Right. So to sum that up, FTX dead, FTX US still alive for the time being. Binance not going to buy it over. Their SBF also, yes, that's something I was going to talk about, because the rest of the market is obviously going down. Sam Bankman-Fried's wealth is tied up in a lot of other crypto projects as well, and it appears he's needing to liquidate some of his positions to clear the books for FTX. So projects that he's a major investor in, like Solana, they are taking a harder hit than normal. Whenever there's bad news in crypto, the whole market goes down, but you can tell the ones that are doing a little bit better, and you can tell the ones that are getting stomped a little bit more. SBF is a big investor, and it was one of his golden babies, this Solana project. And so while Solana absolutely can exist without SBF, they are getting their name dragged through the news also, because I think he's got to liquidate, like $1 billion worth to cover his butt. So Solana, big sale right now. In fact, out of the top 10, down to 15. Yeah, man, $12.75. Last week when we were talking, I think it was $38. It was $38 because Google had recently, this is news, but this is 3 days ago news. Google, the reason the price went up on Solana was because Google partnered with it, became a Solana validator, a block producing Solana validator. The Google account was tweeting out to people about them teaming up with Solana. People loved it. The price flew up by 15%, which at that time it was, 32, 33. It went up to about 38. That was its high point before all this stuff started slippery sloping. And then we've dropped back down. Let's actually see if we can see the blood. This is the blood on the streets they talk about when you're looking to invest, because it's all happened within 1 week. Oh, that's just one day. So over here, Google partners with Solana. The price is going up. There's a little jump. Everybody's happy. And it's the 9th, and this was the 6th. So 3 days ago, we're here, and then it just dropped off. So that's where Solana's at right now. Ryan and I have been talking. I think Solana has a future beyond SBF. So I'm looking at this as a wonderful time to buy more. In fact, tomorrow, I think $1 billion worth of Solana becomes unlocked in a staking protocol and is going to have the ability to hit the market. If people think that it's going to drop lower, $1 billion will be on the market, and they will be able to sell it what they weren't able to sell today and through the last of the bad news. So tomorrow, $1 billion more in Solana hits the markets and could drop it even lower. And right now it's at $12.79. This will be fun to look back on, because this time next year, we could be talking about the $150, $300 Solana, or we could be talking about, remember that project? What was that project that guy was invested in? So you just never know. But 3 days ago, it was at $38. Now it's at $12.79, headed down.
Yeah, and Solana supports a lot of major projects, which is why a lot of people like it. I mean, it's a name brand crypto company, cryptocurrency. So I'm with you. I'd like to believe that they have staying power. This is a knee-jerk reaction, but I don't know what their financials look like. So, and that is clearly determining a lot of things for a lot of projects.
Yeah, this is not really not too newsworthy, but this is a true story. I woke up this morning nice and early. I was looking at my phone, looking at election results, then looking at crypto prices, and Solana had dropped beneath $20. But I had spent the last of my money on Solana yesterday at $25. So I didn't have any money to spend. I thought about selling something else, but everything's down so much. I was like, well, I'm not selling anything else. But it was like 3 a.m. and I didn't have anything to do. So I went and got in the car and started driving for Uber. And I was like, I'm just going to drive until I make enough money to buy a couple more Solana. I think the price was 19 or 18 bucks. And so that's what I did this morning. I drove for about an hour and a half before Abby had to go to work, made just under $60, bought 3 more Solanas. I wish I would have waited 5 hours. I could have bought double that. But that's my plan this week. I was telling Ryan that my goal for all of 2023 was to buy 100 Solana total. It was going to be about 2 a week. I was planning on hopefully getting it for under $50 a coin, but it was around 35, 38. I think I'd even bought some at 60. That's how long I've had some of them. But my plan was to make sure I was at 100 by the end of the year. And now with all the interesting stuff coming on and the big weekend coming up, I may hit 100 Solana this weekend. That's my plan. I'm going out. 100% of my Uber and Lyft money this weekend is going straight to Solana. It's taken the biggest hit, which means it has an opportunity for the biggest recovery. Not financial advice, because I've been wrong every other time in my life. But my thought is Thursday, Friday, Solana drops under 10 bucks. I go out, drive for 24 to 30 hours between the 3 days of the weekend, and I hit my $100 my 100 coins by Sunday. That's my plan.
Yeah, it's good to have goals, Ben. It's good to have goals.
Well, that's not financial advice, but if
it's also not Abby approved, but we're going with it. Let's do this.
Yeah. She knows I'm going to go out and drive, but she doesn't know that all this money. Yeah, this money's going straight. I'm literally going to be moving it from Uber straight to Coinbase. So,
smart.
Last thing on the news, and then we'll get into Enjin. Enjin is very exciting, and any other week, I would be super pumped to just jump right into Enjin. But this has just been a crazy week, and when things are volatile like this, price-wise, and there's, major exchanges collapsing, and there's there's all this talk about espionage, and this was CZ's plan the whole time, and
the memes are flying. I almost jumped on and said, "What do you think about just skipping? Well, let's bump Enjin. We got to cover this stuff." But I don't know what you cut. It's happening so fast, and know.
It's crazy, but there is other news in other parts of the crypto world. One of which, this doesn't off the bat seem like crypto, but Elon Musk just tweeted, "Please note that Twitter will do lots of dumb things in the coming months. We will keep what works and we will change what doesn't." So everybody was wondering when he was going to change stuff, how he was going to do stuff, what kind of stuff. It doesn't sound like they're going to put a lot of thought into what will work long-term and what won't work long-term before they put it out. It sounds like they're going to pull the trigger and start firing, and whatever works, they're going to keep, and whatever doesn't. That will do huge things. You could wake up tomorrow and there might be a tipping button or a pay for your blue check mark with Dogecoin. That could happen tomorrow, and it could send the price of Doge. It could turn around the crypto market. You know what I mean? And I think with this current low, I think Doge was down to about 8 cents a piece. So it's got a long way to go back up to get to its all-time high. But Elon Musk buying one of the major social media platforms and him being one of the biggest proponents of crypto, the next couple months could be very interesting. And we could literally be going like high, low, high, low. So if you're a day trader, not financial advice, man, what a time to be in it. What a time to be in it. Like,
there's so much uncertainty around the world, like, politics, war, crypto, financial systems, supply, lack of transport, supply and demand, logistics is also, there's and we're over here smiling, making YouTube videos. There's a lot of chaos, but
chaos,
in chaos, in down times is when there's massive opportunities if you're prepared. Like they say, preparedness favors the lucky, and we're there. It's happening. So you can either put your head in the sand, or you can jump on and subscribe to MetaMentors and get educated as we are learning as we go along. A lot of this stuff is all brand new to us. We've only been at this for a year, been a little bit longer, but we're doing this to educate ourselves, and we're documenting along the way through our channel. So
correct. You can switch it back over to your screen. I don't think I have the ability to do that on mine.
To switch it to my screen?
Yeah.
Let's get into Enjin. Story. So the story and the team of Enjin here. Enjin, which is spelled Enjin, as you can probably tell behind me.
Oh no. I've been looking up the wrong engine. I think I was looking up car engines. That explains.
You would do that.
That explains why they were talking about gas prices, but I think they meant the other kind of gas.
You better start juggling. No, this engine is building the permanent bridge between virtual worlds through the power of NFTs, non-fungible tokens. Enjin started as a social network for gamers in 2009. It's based out of Singapore. Within a few years, Enjin had grew to more than 20 million users, 20 million gamers. In 2017, the two founders, who are pictured at the top here, not going to try and pronounce their names. In 2017, the two founders began to visualize a future where players could actually own and use their in-game assets through the use of blockchain. Creating and utilizing the ERC 1155 token, online gamers can bring and trade their assets from one game to the next. So game to game. If they grow tired of these assets, the NFT can be melted down into what's called an Enjin token, which we'll get into a little bit later. And that token can be recycled into additional assets. There's a cost to do that, but it's available, and it's called melting.
We will talk about that later, because that is a very unique
big deal.
And very usable. I mean, that's a great idea for NFTs.
Yeah, this is definitely one of those projects, again, where you get into it and you start coming across some of the stuff you're doing, and you're like, why didn't anybody else do this, or is thinking about this, or is there somebody else that's doing this? Because it seems extremely beneficial, innovative, a lot of value. The Enjin ecosystem utilizes its own blockchain, it's called Affinity, built on Polkadot, a marketplace, a wallet, a platform that provides Ethereum scaling solutions for creating and launching NFT projects gas-free, free of charge, no gas, doing a lot of really, really amazing stuff, which when you have a project like this, Ben, that's doing all this crazy cool stuff, it takes a lot to actually cover. Like sometimes you don't even know where to start on some of this stuff. So I always like to start with the team. You've got these guys here. Again, they created this in 2009. This was for Web 2 gaming, regular gaming, not Web 3, not crypto gaming. None of that existed then. These were gamers at heart that started this, that wanted to create a social network to empower other gamers. And they did. And they did so well that more than 20 million users jumped on board with it. So they've set up, they've got their team going here, bringing in the best of the best, I guess you could say, some interesting facts. And it's a pretty versed team. They're spread across over 20 different countries now. So they're operating at all sorts of different levels, based in Singapore. So they've got the team. They've got my approval of the team going on. So here's one of the co-founders, the CTO, Chief Technical Officer. He's going to do a quick description of what Enjin is.
How would Enjin's tool set be utilized in those applications? Yeah, so we have a few tools that we have a wallet right now that's used by millions of people, and you can receive NFTs there. You can you can mint things. You can use them inside of the games. But we're also releasing our new marketplace coming up. It's called NFT.io, and that will let you list your tokens. It will let you mint tokens, and it'll also let you distribute your tokens. So you can go on NFT.io. You can, take some images that you've created, make your own token suite out of it, and then create a Beam QR code and literally give somebody that QR code. They'll scan it with their phone and they'll get that NFT delivered to them right away. So that's for the general person who just wants to make some NFTs quickly, easily. You'll be able to do that straight on NFT.io.
So this platform has got a ton of stuff going on, Enjin, but the whole goal with all of what they're doing is to empower the gamer and to make things more affordable for those who want to do, create and innovate and make gaming just all around better. And so you've got this. So you have the main hub, the website here, Enjin, built around NFTs, started out for gamers, grew like crazy, over 20 million users way back when. And it's taken off even more from there. So this site, as you go to enjin.com, enjin.io, you've got the titles, and we're going to break these down a little bit more. You can see they've got a wallet, infinity, blockchain, platform, marketplace, and JumpNet, but it's all built around launching, creating NFTs, trading NFTs, and using the Enjin token. And
correct me if I'm wrong, but either Enjin or some of the creators of Enjin were the first ones to actually make an NFT. Like, I think they were the ones that wrote the original code for the first on-chain digital asset, like the first technically non-fungible token. I don't remember if it was from Enjin specifically or from one of the people on their team actually wrote the code for an NFT. So, I mean, we talked about this company going back to original Web 2 and platform gaming. It was around before, crypto really picked up, but it not only has been around since before then, but it has been a major player, and the people on their team have been major players in the industry. So it's not like they're taking people's good ideas and trying to just bring it all together. Like, they've created a lot of the intellectual property that people now are using, and they're making their own platform, but it's like a whole suite of products to be able for other people to come in and participate in blockchain, whether it's by making their own token to go to their fandom, to making their own game, or actually just putting their game and their records and their NFTs on the chain. They're making it to where anybody can participate in blockchain.
Yeah, it's basically an end-to-end suite, and they've been around since 2009. So they're an OG in the gaming space, let alone the Web3 crypto space. But essentially that's what this is it's an end-to-end suite for gamers. And it started with gamers, but actually businesses and individuals can now use it, which is, and they, obviously I haven't gone in there and created my own NFTs, but that's their deal. Is it's so easy. You don't have to know how to program or be very techy. You can go in there, upload some stuff, and create your own NFTs. Their claim is to have made it easier for everyone to create and experience video games of the future. So that's what they're shooting for. A one-stop suite of powerful tools for creating, trading, and scaling NFTs for gaming, business, and rewards. And so on their website here, their home site, and again, they've got a ton of information, but you can see some of the actual things that they're doing: ownership, utility, real world value. You can kind of click on these and it goes into a little bit. They're creating their own blockchain in combination with Polkadot, which has some really, I learned a lot about Polkadot that I didn't even know, that has some stuff going on. So you can create these NFTs, or you can onboard NFTs from the Ethereum blockchain and then improve them from there. And I don't know how much you're going to cover, but obviously tokenomics wise, there's so much going on here, but the ability to combine more than one token and create different assets. For instance, one of the examples they use is you might have a sword NFT that's built on the Enjin 1155 ERC 1155 token. You could add additional powers or additional jewels or things like that to that same sword, improving an existing NFT weapon or an existing asset from one game. So you bring that weapon in from one game, you can build upon it and use it in a whole nother game. Some of this stuff is, I mean, we've been at this for a year. So granted, we've covered a lot of projects and I don't know a lot. I basically know nothing still. But that is mind blowing. You're talking about taking one NFT and improving upon that NFT and being able to take it over into another game. I haven't heard of anybody else doing this. That doesn't mean there isn't.
Right.
But
I feel like I've just started here, not necessarily the interoperability, but a couple of the projects are trying to make like dynamic NFTs, or NFT stacking is what they call it, where it's like, it's the NFT, but then you can actually stack up on top of it and add these extra features. So I think that's something we're probably going to be seeing. Again, I think Enjin is a market mover. They're a first person mover. They're making a lot of the initial steps in this kind of stuff. But I think NFT stacking and specifically like dynamic NFTs, those are terms we're probably going to hear a lot in 2023 as everyone else catches on.
Yeah, like I said in the beginning, they appear to have a huge jumps on a lot of the stuff that's going on. And like you said, it sounds like some of the individuals were actually involved with creating the first NFTs. I hadn't seen that, but that wouldn't surprise me based on what they're doing. But so, under here, the solutions here, you've got individuals, businesses, developers. They've got a little bit of something for everybody. But you could go in here as a business and create marketing tools and NFTs to use to help improve your business. And then you could send it out to some of your, if you wanted to award some of your clients or even some of your employees or whatever, they've got QR code availability that whoever wins that award can scan the QR code and it drops an NFT right into their Enjin wallet.
Right.
And so,
like some of the projects that we've seen that are focusing more on crowds and communities. Like imagine if you go to a Katy Perry concert or a Lady Gaga concert and they're like, hey, anybody who shows up to this concert, scan this as you walk in and you'll get a free concert NFT. You know what I mean? Just the ability to be able to instantly reward any of your fans, and especially with some of the wallets and some of the stuff we're talking about where it's like you don't even have to have any knowledge of Web3. They're making it so easy. You just scan it with your QR code. It'll send it to your email or wherever, and you can claim it whenever you're ready for it. Like if you think about the community that's available and the prizes, the opportunities where you could use an instantly available NFT that you can distribute immediately. So cool.
Cool. In so many different ways. So here's the CTO again talking a little bit about using it for business practices.
Right.
I've been searching for a new phone service.
Through that, how it works.
Gotcha.
What benefits does that offer?
He's also going to talk about melting here.
So on Efinity, what you can do is create an asset type, and that asset might be something like a sword, right? And then you can mint a certain supply of swords. So you can decide if it's a fungible token, if it is a non-fungible token, and essentially give it some rules like who can mint it and various parameters, and then you can mint. And what you can do is you can actually mint with batch transactions to all your users. So if you want to mint 1,000 tokens and send them to 1,000 users in that whole mint process, you can do that in a single transaction instead of having to go one by one minting and spending a lot of.
That's the first time I haven't heard of anyone else being able to batch produce NFTs also. Like that seems to be something that's completely innovative that these guys are doing, that at least I hadn't heard of anybody else to this point.
I don't think we've heard of it described like that, but I think a lot of especially like the 10,000, they batch produce them and they randomize it, the different features and stuff. But yeah,
the PFPs.
Yeah.
What's funny is those projects, a lot of them, according to my research, are using Enjin to create those PFP projects.
Yeah. That's what they're talking about, is how easy it is. You don't have to be a Web3 guy and go, this is what I want to do. You can be anybody. You could be the local hardware store and say, hey, I'd like to reward all of my loyal customers with a collectible NFT token from our 50 years in business. And you go to Enjin, it's free to do. You have to pay the minting fee or whatever when you process it. But it's like all of their tools, their SDI, their APK, all that stuff is free to use. And you can just jump right in and start doing it.
Yeah, it makes onboarding gamers and people just in general.
Everybody,
yeah, it's free, it's simple, and they're providing you the know-how to do it.
Do you see other chains adopting this? Because this seems to me kind of the next step for, especially around functionality from an NFT standpoint, when you look at just utility aspects of how NFTs are being incorporated into a lot of different walks of life, including business strategies. That now, because you got brands looking at NFTs, this is going way beyond the artist aspect of this. This could really be a tool for traditional businesses to try to tokenize what they're doing, whatever that might be. Is that something that you guys feel is kind of with the future of where Enjin is going? That's kind of the direction?
Yeah, I mean, like we work with both. I mean, we focus on games because there's a lot to do in the gaming space, but we also work with enterprises and businesses and I think one of the biggest things is to gamify businesses, gamify, day-to-day interactions with things. Concerts, sports events, things like that. Those are really low-hanging fruits. And so, yeah, we do think this tech will be used. In terms of other chains, like obviously we want to make this interoperable. So, we're working on token standard. We're trying to make the chain linked to any other blockchain. But we think that a lot of this stuff will happen on the Efinity chain itself, just because the way that we're designing it, as a fully functional, featured ecosystem and product, people will want to move their NFTs to that chain and build their use cases on Efinity itself. But we are going to be open sourcing all of this stuff. So if people want to build more parachains that support these kind of features, they can start building a whole ecosystem and network in the future around that.
These guys they just seem to be, I can't, in my research, I came across 3 other companies that were compared to Enjin. I cannot wait to, and we'll have to fit them in somewhere on episodes, but I cannot wait to compare them against Enjin, because these guys just seem so far ahead of the curve, talking about gamifying businesses. Like, that is ingenious. Like, I think we know we're headed that way, but to hear them actually talk about it, and then they're talking about creating assets that can be used on hundreds of different, blockchains, hundreds, thousands of different games. Like, they clearly, they're clearly advanced thinking that I can't, I'm not there yet.
Well, get there, because the world moves on whether you're paying attention or not.
Yeah, I shouldn't be so shocked. My small brain, it's not.
Well, it is. The problem is we're not grabbing one of these projects and digging into it every week. Every week we're grabbing a new project and we're bouncing around. We're like, oh my gosh, these games are crazy. And then you go look at the Enjin coin behind it that's doing all the work. And then you're like, that's crazy. And then you look at Ethereum and you're like, this is like starting a channel where every week we try to explore another thing that makes the world work. You know what I mean? Like, today we're going to talk about real estate. And then tomorrow we're going to talk about how to make a certain type of food. And you know what I mean? Like, they're so different, but it's taking over every aspect of the world, from real estate to finance to smart contracts to genealogy to record keeping, accounting. You know what I mean? Like, everything.
Yeah, because it's such an advanced technology. So everybody's seeing. Yeah, it's spreading like wildfire, because it just makes so much better sense than what we've been doing in the past.
Yeah, it's like on the in the internet, or around the 80s, and going, well, we're a restaurant. What would we ever need the internet for? What would we ever need the internet for? I think I saw, now that I mention it, I think like Kentucky Fried Chicken was like the most visited website throughout the world, like the most visited by all the countries of the world, or something like that. There was some sort of, and I don't remember, maybe it was on a certain day or something, but Kentucky Fried Chicken had the most visited website in the world, averaged out among all the countries, or something along those lines. And it was just a restaurant. It was KFC. And I thought, that is so strange. I mean, above Amazon, above Facebook, above everything, KFC. And that's a restaurant. And it's like, in the 80s, somebody at KFC probably said, well, we don't need a website because we serve food in the restaurant.
Guaranteed. Yeah.
Yeah. We don't need a website.
What are they going to order? What are they going to order? Fried chicken over the
exactly. It's like, you don't understand. Well, why would I need to be on the internet? Anybody who's going to buy a house is going to want to see it in person first. You know what I mean? It's like, why would I need that? And then before you know it, you don't think about the internet being a part of everybody's business. You don't even think about it. But if you were to take it away, it would ruin everything. You know what I mean? Like it's so intertwined, and blockchain, I think, will be that plus some, because it's also into the record keeping. It's also into, it'd be like if you took away internet and computers and pen and paper. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Moving this along, we're going to jump in. So I'm going to talk just briefly about a few of these products, assets they've got. So you've got the platform. It's a complete tech stack for NFTs, gaming, music, sports, concert tickets, kind of like you were mentioning. You can go in there, you can create these NFTs using the ERC 1155 token, which was created by the Enjin guys. And so go in there, you can use it for business, you can use it for gaming. Why use Enjin? So why use this product, this platform? The Enjin platform is a blockchain platform as a service. We've heard that before. That allows you to create and manage blockchain games without the complexity of building and maintaining the infrastructure typically associated with developing and launching a blockchain game. It is robust, flexible, powerful suite of tools and services for creating groundbreaking blockchain games. I just read that word for word, but it sums it up just perfectly, and it gets you fired up. And it's not just games, above it talks about using it in a business strategy. So you have the platform that you can go on there and create the NFTs to start with, right? You've got the marketplace. So you create these NFTs, you can actually go on there and sell them. Or if you have NFTs coming from other games or assets or whatever, you can use their marketplace there also to sell it. And this is getting revamped currently to introducing this NFT IO, which is also has something to do with an NFT 2.0 that they've been kind of putting some information out about. And I think maybe I didn't get a good grasp of that, but I think maybe it's a little bit of what you were talking about earlier about the stacking and some of the versatility that NFTs are becoming.
Yeah. And you kind of just skipped over the fact that Enjin owns NFT.io. And .io is the metaverse. That's the postscript that you want on your website. That's everybody, all these projects that we do end in IO. And Enjin has NFT.io.
Yeah.
That's like crypto.com. Crypto.com, the exchange, would have already gone under a dozen times if they didn't own crypto.com. Like the name of that, especially for onboarding, especially for people who are unfamiliar with the situation, NFT.io is a great website to have. That's an asset. That's on there. Yeah. That's like a building. That's like anything else that they would put on their paperwork to say this is one of the things that we have as an asset. NFT.io is a very expensive, a very important asset that Enjin has.
You bring up that just kind of something went off in my head there. The website or domain name is a very good example of, when you hear people are like, why would you pay all that money for a digital picture? You can't even hold it. Like that's ridiculous. Like it's a JPEG. That's crazy. Not a JPEG, but you hear that. A domain is a perfect example about that. Everybody seems to accept that a domain can be worth, nothing, or it can be worth hundreds of millions of dollars, maybe even billions. People seem to accept that. Okay, an NFT isn't any different than that. It's just another digital asset, different, but same idea.
That's a good point, because beer.com is worth millions. BEER.com is worth millions. Beer with 4 E's, you could probably get it right now for $14.99. You know what I mean? Like, very close, says the same thing, but it's what you're actually buying. It's buying the actual item, the actual non-replicatable. Only one person can use beer.com, and you can screw it up as much as you want. You can kind of add the E's or spell it differently or think of something crazy, but beer.com is worth a lot of money. And to be able to grab a crypto.com or an NFT.io.
Yeah, it's similar to real estate. You have a building on,
Right.
fourth and whatever, your Main Street and Broadway. That building's worth a ton of money. There's also a building right directly behind that, not worth near the amount of money that one on the corner is. It's kind of similar, Ben. It's just coming to me. These things are just coming to me. So you've got the marketplace here. You can discover, trade, collect. Everybody kind of knows what a marketplace is. They own NFT.io. That's awesome. And then you've got JumpNet, and I'm skipping over Affinity and Wallet here because Ben's going to cover those, which actually I've done a poor job of not letting you jump in and get your stuff going again.
It's all right. I'm sitting here with everyone else listening and learning.
I got excited. So they've got this product called JumpNet that it was a bit confusing to me just because I don't understand a lot of this stuff. But what I ultimately kind of figured out is it's similar to the Launchpad or Launchpads that some of these other companies are using. JumpNet is kind of, and they've got a description here. It's a forever free Ethereum scaling. So you use JumpNet to help scale Ethereum products or NFTs. And you can use it in combination with like the Polkadot blockchain, the Affinity they've got going on. So it instant, secure, carbon negative, and free on-chain transactions for NFTs and Enjin coin. So you're working with the Ethereum blockchain, but there's no gas fees here. And again, that just goes right back to what these guys started out is they wanted to empower the gamer and help them to have a more social, a better gaming experience, to have more ownership in their actual assets as blockchain came along. And part of that is getting them tools that are free to use, and so that people will use them and want to use them. And they have, which is why they skyrocketed to so many users, and they're just continuing to go down this path. So bring your Ethereum assets to JumpNet to benefit from gas-free blockchain experiences. And so this is their website again, showing some of their products. You've got their docs.enjin.io that has a lot of stuff on here, and it's actually got an explanation of the JumpNet here. So JumpNet is a private POA, which I wrote this down, but I don't want to mess this up. I think it was proof of authority. Does that sound right? I'm almost positive. Proof of authority method of consensus blockchain that allows instant and gasless transactions on the chain. So proof of authority, that's something a little bit different than what we've heard, but they've got a brief description here. On JumpNet, they have their own unique token, which is the JENJ token. And it's got some really, really cool features that works in conjunction with some of these, with the Enjin token and some of these other projects that they're doing. So again, combined with the ERC 1155 token. So let me sum up my portion of it here real quick, and we've got yours, Ben, so I won't go too deep in it. But basically, they built this end-to-end suite, this platform as a service that you can bring your NFTs on from Ethereum, or you can create your own on and then you can use it onto up to hundreds of other blockchains through Polkadot, also through numerous amounts of other games. Or as a business or an individual, you could go on there and create NFTs for free that you can give away to your clients or your friends or whoever, your employees, whatever you want to do there. Give that away for, you can create NFTs, give them away for free that have the Enjin token or one of their tokens built into it, the ERC 1155 token, that is an instant asset that they can use with the Enjin wallet to either connect or trade or do things with. It has real value that can all be done online. So you don't have to mail your favorite client, a bottle of whiskey, although that would be great. You could just use an Enjin token, send him an NFT that has instant values written on the smart contract. Just really, really cool stuff that I have not seen yet, Ben. I'm definitely investing in this project.
Yeah, and it's all wrapped up. One of the things that makes this project so not unique but so special is the same reason why Amazon.com lets you order food from Whole Foods. They let you get parts. They let other people sell on there. They want you and your attention to stay on Amazon.com. They will go find
Good
you
point.
whatever you want. There's no reason for you to come onto Amazon and buy your home goods there, but then go to Target.com and buy your clothes here, and then go to Dillons.com and buy food over there. They want you to come on and stay on. And Enjin is doing that. And any of these products that Enjin has would be a perfectly fine standalone project. But they've been doing this for so long that they've brought in the right people. They have the right teams. They've created this suite of goods, which is how Ryan described it. And it's perfect because that's what it is. It's a suite. It's a package. If you're a business or a person or a game maker and you want to get involved in the blockchain, you don't have to go to 5 different people. You go to Enjin and they walk you through it, and they walk you through it cheaply, and they let you use their tools, and they give you the ability to mint and create these digital assets, use them in your digital game. I just think they're not only because they were a first mover, but because they're doing such a thorough, solid job of it. This really is a project to keep your eye on, to consider investing in if you're interested in these type of projects. Ryan and I, when we started this channel, we were more looking into, I think, more like metaverse and more games and stuff. But our attention always seems to turn towards the platforms and the back end type of stuff, because games come and go. The games that were popular 5 years ago, are on the dusty old shelf, not getting played, and now they're playing something new. But Xbox and PlayStation and computers, those are the what, you know what I mean? Like, they're always selling and making more. And these platforms as a service, the Next Earth, the places with launch pads, Enjin, the places that are allowing people to come in and they help them create the digital experience that they're looking for. Those are the projects that we're really starting to kind of get our eyes open to and go, yes, some of these metaverse projects are cool. And if they ever come to full fruition, I can't wait for it. But there's so much stuff happening right now. I think when Ryan was talking about the NFTs and you could use it for ticketing, the number one NFT creator in the world is
not Ticketmaster.
It's not Ticketmaster. It's the other one. But it's a concert ticket company. I can't even think of what the name it is, but they've issued 10 million NFTs because they're issuing tickets as NFTs. And it's like, well, that doesn't even really count. It's like, it doesn't, but it also sort of does.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That's the exact point. You're like, that's not really an NFT. Yeah, I hear what you're saying, but that's the genius of NFTs, the versatility, the utility of NFTs is, ticket stubs, or, it's basically endless.
right? And so this Enjin company that we're looking at has all of these products to take anybody, business, person, private, group, company, nonprofit, whatever, and give them the ability, whether they're giving out free stuff, whether they're fundraising, whether they're starting a business, whether it's a zoo or a company, or a school. They just have a whole suite of products, and it makes everything so much easier. And that's why, stuff like their wallet, which we're going to watch a little video on their wallet. Their wallet doesn't do a lot that other wallets don't do, but because it's all wrapped up, it's optimized to work within the Enjin and the Affinity network. It's ready to go for that. You can stake the tokens inside of there. It's just like, why would you use Microsoft Excel, Microsoft Word, Microsoft PowerPoint, and then go, I need to find something from Google for my, tracking my finances or whatever. Once you're using a certain set or a certain suite of products, you tend to stick with it. And Enjin has done everything they can, not to force you to stay on their platform, but to give you the opportunity to not have to. Yeah, literally, it's like, well, yeah, and then if you want to mint it in here, you just use this wallet, which is right here, blah, 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 blah. If you want to throw it over to me, I'll play this little video. Now, their wallet came out 3 years ago or 4 years ago.
Yeah.
They're on wallet 2.0, so they've got a little bit more upgrade. I mean, that's just one of the benefits of somebody that's been around for so long, is not only do they know all the stuff that everybody else knows right now, but they've also created an original crypto wallet. They know what was short. They know firsthand what didn't work in the early days of crypto and NFTs. So now when they create something, it's like, well, we know exactly what it takes and we know exactly what doesn't work. So here's just a little intro onto the wallet. Pretty interesting. Let's see. Let me make sure I got my volume up here. All right.
That's what I'm talking about.
Wait! Okay, now.
Coming soon to Android.
And that video is old enough that version 2 is out right now. So that's what they've got on the Enjin website, enjin.io. You can download it, get it on Google Play or Apple, and it just gives you the rundown of all this stuff. One of the things it's not a pain in the butt about NFTs, but if you buy something on OpenSea, then you got to send it to your MetaMask, and it's like there's a transaction fee for OpenSea, there's a transaction fee to move it to your MetaMask. You got to pay the gas fees everywhere. But when you're buying and selling and trading on the Enjin marketplace and moving it seamlessly over to your Enjin wallet, and you can store it there, and then you can move it out of there, and it's all for very, very, very cheap or free. That's just one of the benefits of again, not just buying the NFTs on there, but using everything in the Enjin suite. It shows you all the partners they have, all the coins they accept, which is most of the coins, most of the big coins anyway. And we'll put this link in there, but it's just on the enjin.io website. It's a standard wallet that is optimized to work seamlessly within the Enjin universe. It's not a metaverse. Yeah, whatever that would be.
Universe is good enough. Ecosystem.
So yeah, they've got a you can swap for other coins, like Ryan was talking about. You can use the decentralized apps. It does everything, and they do a lot of airdrops because it's free for them to mint and send. They got gasless NFT transfers, so they can actually just drop these airdrops of these free NFTs, which is pretty awesome.
On their, do you know on their wallet, you know, it says you can manage infinite amount of wallets. It sounds like maybe you could like, can you even manage your MetaMask wallet with their wallet, or is it here it says that you can track your hardware one like Trezos or Trezor or Ledger, but that's hardware, not an actual.
Yeah, the way I understand it is you can track your hard wallet, your offline wallet, and you can create as many wallets as you want inside the Enjin wallet. Now, there are ones like Trust Wallet and the SafeMoon wallet that allow you to kind of like basically not shadow, but kind of mirror your other wallet so you can see what's in there. So I'm not sure. I didn't look to see if that had that, because when I read that you could open as many wallets as you want, I assumed they meant,
that's what
you can separate it. And I like doing that because I don't like using my MetaMask wallet with all of my coins in there to click into every little IO project. You know what I mean? Like I like to have basically a throwdown one until I'm comfortable enough with that project to connect my real wallet to it.
That's one of the lessons I learned in hacking is now, I've got I have a wallet that if I buy or sell stuff, it all goes through there, but I don't hold anything really in that other than a little bit of Ethereum or Polygon that I can make transactions with. And then, if you have a project that you're staking with, then dedicated wallet there. It gets a little cumbersome because you can have a ton of wallets, but it's much better than having everything in one and getting hacked and losing everything.
When the market turns around, when the market turns around and the IRS comes a knocking, it's nice to have a couple of wallets between the transaction and where the coins are actually sitting. Because
good point.
Yeah, or getting hacked, because obviously you buy something, the more you use your wallet, the more it's exposed. It's a very safe network if you don't give away your 12 code key, but there are ways to get into that. So if you can buy it with one wallet, send it to another wallet that doesn't ever get on any of these public sites, you're locked down. It's super safe that way. So in the Affinity network, which let me see, I don't even know if I have, I got it up here in the products. The Affinity was the their blockchain for the NFTs that they create. Affinity is like their newest, man, I don't even know what you call it, a product or a project, but they're using Polkadot. I don't understand this almost at all, so I found a perfect video that explains it. Because, this stuff, the reason we started with games is because we can understand games. The reason we are drawn to platforms as a service is because we realize, oh man, that's the play right now. We're early enough that finding the companies that's going to bring companies onto the Web3 and onto the metaverses, that's the play. But it's so,
the reason that's the play that I figured out is because I've asked myself the same thing. Why am I attracted to these other than obvious reasons? Platforms as a service are king right now of interoperability and onboarding. That's what those are doing. And those are two of the most important things going on in Web3 as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, absolutely. If not, for everybody as a whole, onboarding is the biggest, because this won't go anywhere. I've seen a couple articles talking about how few people are using, Facebook's $1 billion metaverse. And it's like, yeah, well, if you don't get people to come in, then none of this is doing any good. It's powered by people. And if people aren't coming in with money, using and spending, then none of it's good. So anything that's onboarding people, that's making it easier for Web 2 and before, or non-Web 3 people and companies to get into the blockchain, that's something to look at.
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
So Vitek, how did we get here, and why did we ultimately end up choosing Polkadot as the best solution to bring this grand vision to life?
Well, Enjin's always been about bringing the power of the blockchain to game developers and gamers and making it easy to use. And we started by building on Ethereum, and we looked into ways of scaling that, where those were the early versions of Efinity. But now we realize that Efinity is the infrastructure for the metaverse. It's part of our whole solution, from the blockchain all the way down to the ways that people use it through our wallet and the marketplace and everything. So we're just trying to break down all barriers, make it easy to onboard millions of people into the metaverse and into blockchain games without any friction. So Efinity makes that easier. It makes it cheaper, gives you more power, makes NFTs native to the blockchain. It's really exciting.
Dude, that's so epic.
There. So they sound just like us. Like,
Right.
I don't know how to explain it. It's just like, it's fucking does this, this, and this. Oh, that's so epic. That's so awesome. That's awesome. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah. Yeah. It is literally so epic. Like,
right,
what they're doing.
Right. And so, so we've talked about everything you could do. I feel like we've touched on melting on these NFTs, but that's something that deserves its own talk specifically. I don't have any videos on that, but it's a very easy to understand process. So say you get, they've been using the sword reference. So say you get a sword in a game, and it's the sword of infinity, and it kills all the blue dragons, and you're playing this game and you play it for 2 years, and then it starts to get old. The beauty of an NFT is now you can sell it to somebody who would want to use it in the game. But the thing about any game is, after 2 years, maybe that game's not as fun. I don't need the sword for the original Halo because I don't play the original Halo anymore.
Right.
But one of the things that Enjin's doing that, like Ryan said, I don't know if anybody else is doing this yet. I mean, it seems like a no-brainer once you hear it. But you take this NFT, which has been minted using Enjin coins, and you can actually melt it back down and turn that into nothing and actually get Enjin coins out of it. It doesn't ever specify, if it takes 10 coins to mint it, I don't think you get 10 coins out of it.
No.
But rather than having an NFT for a game that no one plays, that no one wants to buy, you're able to turn that back into Enjin coins, which means there's not a whole bunch of dead digital assets floating around in your wallet, out in the, on the blockchain, on the network. You're able to pull that off and actually destroy that token or destroy that NFT and turn it back into Enjin coins. And now you've got money to either trade for fiat or buy another asset for a game that you're currently playing. And I just thought,
genius.
That's like real world stuff.
Yeah, genius. And again, it comes from the mind. It comes from the mindset of supporting and valuing your gamers. That's what it is. Why would you ever do that unless you were really trying to give value to your gamers? And you don't get each asset has a different amount of Enjin coins that its value. The more, if it's a, that infinity sword is one of a kind, it's, it's valued, it's worth way more Enjin coins. And when you do melt that sword, you don't get the full amount of Enjin coins. You get somewhere between 50 and 100% of that, because the developer gets whatever that balance is, whatever's written in the smart contract.
Right.
So, there's an opportunity to create assets that you can sell that have a possible future income if they do melt them down. I saw a note, and I didn't write down where it was, but they're saying there's more than 1 billion. Here it is. More than 1 billion blockchain assets are powered by the Enjin token currently.
Oh, wow.
More than 1 billion. And I'm going to say something here that just occurred to me. So I'm not quite sure. This is almost hypocritical, I think, of what I've just said. But my understanding is there's only 1 billion Enjin coins total anyways. Is that right?
Yes, I believe so. 1 billion circulating supply.
Because something interesting that I was listening to that Coin Bureau was talking about is there's 1 billion coins, Enjin coins. And so if they're wrapped up in some of these projects, like for instance, Infinity actually used their tokens. And so if you have a game that takes off and you have, 100 million assets within, just say one game. You could have, across many games, but you have 100 million assets or NFTs within a game. That's 100 million Enjin tokens. That's 100 million Enjin tokens of that 1 billion that is not available on the market. So it's a true deflationary token.
Right.
So if you have a game that takes off like Axie Infinity, I mean, it could cause a huge lack of supply, driving that price of the Enjin token up. And if they get tired, and Axie is a good example because Axie has lost a lot of players here in volume over the last multiple months. So that's an example of assets that could be melted down, putting the coins back into the market. That's so cool. Such a good idea on so many levels. Yeah.
Great idea. Yeah. And since we're talking about turning your assets back into Enjin coins, when I first started, earlier this week, even when I was looking, let me bring up my notes here. We were pretty excited because the all-time high for the Enjin coin was $4.49, which meant at the current price of 45 cents, it was a 10x if it went back to its all-time high. But that was 4 days ago, and the world has changed. So now we're 12 cents less than that. We've gone down by 30%, 20%. In the week, we've gone down, about 30%. So we're about a 12 or a 15x if it gets back to its all-time high from November of 2021. And projects like this, like Ryan was saying, certain games, you come, you play, and then they fizzle out. I don't think Axie's ready to fizzle out, but it's definitely getting played less. But platforms that allow people to come in for music and business and games and work and all sorts of stuff. It's like, well, if the music's not doing real good right now, maybe now it's more of an investing, more of a business oriented, more advertising related. Like there's always something going on. And if a game or a song or a business comes and goes, Enjin will still be here getting the next one in and on the blockchain. So Ryan and I always talk about it's real hard to imagine some of these solid projects going to absolute zero or not existing in 2 years. And in 2 years, if it got back to its all-time high, which was over a year ago, and it didn't have half the stuff that it has right now going for it. You know what I mean? It didn't have Affinity and it didn't have the 2.0 wallet. And right now it's at 32 cents and its all-time high was $4.49. So
yeah. And you're talking about, I've mentioned there's over 20 million active users. And I think that information is a little bit dated, so it could easily be more than that. But that's not crypto users, that's active users. So my guess is, and I don't think it's a big guess, but my guess is majority of those are just Web 2 gamers. So you have a whole pool of, gamers that are ready to be onboarded into Web 3. I don't know what percentage that is, but onto Web 3 that are currently using your products. And so it's a huge book of business for an established company that already has the attention of tens of millions of people and is just pumping out these quality, and if you liked them enough to use them and stay with them in the first place because of the value they're bringing, why wouldn't you use their wallet? Why wouldn't you use some of the other tokens and some, why wouldn't you access their blockchain? And that was another thing I wanted to hit on real quick is I don't understand the connection very well either of their Infinity chain with blockchain or with Polkadot. But what I did take away from that is Polkadot is connecting hundreds of blockchains, and they're all able to they're interoperable with each other. So the value just in that alone is your assets on your blockchain can be used with hundreds of other blockchains seamlessly through Polkadot. So all the projects and communities that are attached to all these other blockchains are all connected through this Polkadot connection. That's a ton of access. That's a ton of attention that's just readily available, seamlessly usable. And that's one thing, and I'll shut up for a second. That's one thing you don't hear seamless used with Web3 in the same sentence very often right now because almost nothing is seamless. Almost
Right.
nothing is seamless. But you're talking about using hundreds of blockchains with millions or billions of assets seamlessly.
Right. And that's what we don't know which one of those will be the most popular in 5 years or 10 years. So the ones that are able to communicate with each other, if you had one that was only available on Ethereum and Ethereum was the one that ended up going upside down and not being available, then it's like, well, you're out of luck. But if you've got some that are able to communicate and come and take and connect to new networks and new blockchains, that's one that's safe, because if a certain blockchain on there dies, they can just bring in the next one. And that's Polkadot's claim to fame. That's why Enjin chose to use their Affinity project through Polkadot. So go ahead.
And I should say, Infinity or Enjin didn't decide to use Polkadot. Polkadot had an auction for these connections. You had to win one of the auctions to be able to connect to the Polkadot blockchain setup. So it's not even like, it's a valuable asset. Clearly, like you had to win the auction. They won number 6 is what they've said.
Well, cool deal. So if you're looking to invest, you can if you're invested or if you're interested in this project, you can get into the Polkadot. They have a coin called the DOT. It's a Polkadot. That's not directly affiliated with Enjin, but it is another way if that sounds like something you want to invest in. They have the ENJ token, which is the Enjin coin. That's both the governance token and the in-game asset for a lot of these projects. And it's what they use to mint the NFTs. It's what you would get if you melted them back down. It's down over $100 million in market cap from earlier this week when we started looking at it. So it went from 45 cents to 32 cents. That's where it's at right now. Only 1 billion tokens. And like Ryan said, they're one good game away from being super deflationary when they lock a lot of those up into certain NFTs. So the second option is specifically the Efinity token, which is what they're using with Polkadot. They have a second token. It's not even 9 cents, but a little bit bigger, 2 billion on their max supply. And it's more for
it's a governance token, I think, isn't it? More of a governance token from what I was hearing.
I didn't really.
I think that's what I heard. Don't hold us to that. Are you able to bring up the just gaming tokens on that?
Yes.
Because I want to see, at one point the Enjin token was number 5 on gaming tokens several years back.
No, I don't see it here.
It is under there somewhere.
Yeah, because there's Metaverse, Polkadot, BNB, Solana.
It might be under Meta. Is it under Metaverse?
It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in Metaverse projects.
Under Metaverse.
But I feel like I have seen a gaming deal there. I'm just not sure how to get to it.
Put you on the spot.
Yeah. No biggie. I know how to edit. But yeah, so it's in the top 10 of and it's up there with ApeCoin, Decentraland, Sandbox, Axie, Enjin coin.
Yeah. Here's the actual chain for Polkadot, and it looks like they've got it listed as 20. So I don't know if it was 20 auction spots. I know they've said there's hundreds of chains, but I forgot it's an actual lease. So their lease for Infinity EFI is till January of 16th of 2024, and then I'm guessing it's another auction from there.
Right. That's cool. Yeah, Polkadot sounds interesting. Polkadot sounds like something to be looking into.
Yeah.
Because anything that you're not buying for forever and you're on the subscription based or the buy it again in a year, that's that's always a good moneymaker. Polkadot is currently the 11th highest project by market cap on cryptocurrencies. $5.40 a coin. $6 billion fully diluted market cap.
Also on sale because everything is on sale.
Yeah. Polkadot's down this month from 735 down to 541. So not as much as a lot of the other ones. And that, like Polygon, that usually lends to them being a very solid project. And it's like too many people use this and too many people use Polygon for it to dip too much, because there's a lot of cool tokens out there that, a lot of people really like, but there's a lot of tokens that people use every day, and people have to keep buying and keep using and are involved in their Web3 projects, that it's like, can't drop that much because everybody's still using it. So
yeah, if you're like, you hear the bigger projects, the bigger channels talking about, if you believe in the technology and you're in this for the long road, then it's just a matter of figuring out what projects deserve your dollar more than others. And there are a lot of really cool ones like Enjin, and so many others to pick from. And it's just fun. These projects are fun to get into for sure. And the market is crazy right now. So,
but this weekend specifically, my goal is Solana. That's what I'm buying. I'm going to be buying some of that. Ryan, you getting any Solana this weekend?
I bought some today already, and I'll continue to buy. Yeah, I'm waiting for it to kind of hit the next threshold, along with a few others. But
what do you think? Sub 10? You think it'll get below sub 10?
Well, I was listening to Real Vision, and the guy on there was talking about 8 to 13 was a really good deal. So, I thought it was kind of funny that he threw 8 to 13 in there. So 8 is kind of what I'm watching for. And like I've told you, I'm in the process of accumulating mostly Bitcoin right now. But there is quite a few projects that I'm interested in. I'm definitely going to buy some Enjin coin. I want to compare them against these other projects that I heard Coin Bureau talking about, which I think we need to do episodes on for sure, and pick up some Enjin coin also.
Okay. Well, next week is Chain of Alliance. You want to watch the trailer for that and get out of here?
Yeah, let's do it.
Bing bong. Cool. Short and sweet.
Yeah, that was short and sweet. Looks cool though.
Yeah, only because we can compare it to projects like Enjin and some of these other platforms. It's like, well, yeah, it's just another game. Again, if we were to only look at it, if it was the only project that we ever researched, I bet there's a lot of stuff in there that's pretty interesting. This game will come and this game will go. Maybe it'll be super popular and maybe it'll stick around for forever. That's why we're going to do an episode on it, because any project that's coming around, there's a potential to make money and there's a potential to be the next big thing. But like we keep saying, projects like Polkadot, Polygon, Ethereum, Bitcoin,
picks and axes.
These big ones, they've been around for a while and they'll stay around for a while for a reason. They're not just the flavor of the week. So in light of all the damage that's happening in the market this week, remember which projects are in good hands. Remember which ones make their way through projects like this. Binance is a good example of a company that has the ability to use a lot of leverage, and they don't use any debt at all.
They got a lot of cash.
Yeah, they have a lot of cash, and that's what gives them the ability to, if they wanted to, buy out FTX. But as we learned an hour ago, they're not going to. So it'll be exciting. Next week, we'll have a whole bunch of new news, and it'll be completely different than this week. I'm excited to see where this stuff goes, and we'll check back in and see how close to my 100 I got on Solana. Also, I wanted to show this before we left. This is not a trailer. This is just my mentality and Ryan's mentality as we make our way through this crypto market.
I don't know about you, but I'm getting all funned out.
Uh-oh.
Don't tell me. We're about to go over a huge waterfall.
Yep.
Sharp rocks at the bottom?
Most likely.
Bring it on.
Bring it on.
Oh, yeah!
All right. That's all I have, Ryan. Now that
Good
I've watched
episode.
Yeah.